Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's time to start talking about murder drones. This is something that I've been asked about for a very surprising number of times actually. This obviously has been a heavily requested video here on the channel for quite some time now. Murder Drones is a sci-fi CG animated series by Liam Vickers and produced by a 3D animation studio known as Glitch, which is the same guys who are behind MetaRunner and the SMG4 YouTube channel, and it's actually quite interesting and very fascinating to say the least. In fact, the reason why I'm recording this now and actually uploading this later this week is because the series finale, yes, series finale, is coming later this week. Actually, this Friday as of this recording and uploading. So it's an epic conclusion. We're going to be talking about it. I'm going to give you some of my predictions on it. Obviously, my Twitter profile picture, if you follow me on Twitter, is Uzi from that series. It's been my profile picture since I don't even remember when I changed my profile picture, but I know I had it for quite some time now. So you can obviously tell I am a pretty big, big time fan of the series. And I'm really, and I mean seriously looking forward to the thrilling conclusion that we're gonna get this week. But anyways, it's time to give an analysis and review of this particular show. A lot of it is just it's a sci-fi series, so if you're into that, I would highly recommend it. Very entertaining. I really like the action and fighting so far. The CG animation work, especially, is arguably the best that I have ever seen. Looks more professional and even better than the top tier professional CG animation studios like Pixar, DreamWorks, and all these other studios that are out there. I like the plot line. I like the story. The characters are funny and well written. The lore is perfectly written. It's deeper, darker, and better than effectively any comparison that I can make in the concurrent sense. I don't know quite what I would compare it to, actually. There are some elements that are kind of like an Owl House, Amphibia, or Infinity Train deal at times, although not really. It's got an Edge Runners feel at some points, actually. The animation and music especially reminds me of Portal. When I first watched this series, the first thing that came into my mind was Portal. Especially when I hear some of the backing music and the CG animated that was used for all of these robots, or worker drones, as they are called in the series. But it's also it's sort of like a Twilight Saga meets Blade Runner sort of feelings at times, with some of the more emotional plots and romantic undertones that go on between the characters, in addition to some comedic bits sprinkled in there that go beyond the slaughter, the suspense, the sheer horror, the heavy-duty action and fighting that goes on, the creepy nature and overall suspense of the series in general, which at times literally give you chills when you're watching it. Believe me, there are some points in this series when watching certain episodes, you're just sitting there wondering, what the fuck did I just watch? Additionally, giving you more theories and adding more mystery to the series as the series goes on, and as the story is being told. I mean, after all, this is a horror series, and I like the series overall. The series follows the meanderings, and the plot does meander some from episode to episode, while at the same time still giving you a consistent and forward-moving plotline. But the story follows a group of robots known as worker drones who inhabit this faraway exoplanet called Copper-9, which used to be a staging area or more like a mining planet for a company back on Earth known as J.C. Jensen, which is sort of like a play and parodized version of S.C. Johnson in our timeline. But some time ago, there was a huge major mining accident that happened on Copper-9, which effectively wiped out every human that was living on that planet, sending it into a dark winter-like environment, in which the worker drones that were already present on Copper-9 were able to survive, and somehow were able to reproduce and repopulate the planet as everyone was wiped out. Don't ask me why or how they were able to repopulate, but somehow the humans that were already living back on Earth became aware of what was going on Copper-9, with all the worker drones repopulating and reproducing and growing in numbers. Fearing that the worker drones have already become self-aware, J.C. Jensen then makes a more advanced version of these worker drones called disassembly drones, or murder drones as the worker drones like to call them. These disassembly drones are a group of robots which are, well, predictably killer robots, led by one named Jay. At least that's the leader of the trio that we see in the show. The disassembly drones were created in response to the worker drones repopulating by that same company, JC Jensen, just to kill worker drones on Copper 9 on behalf of their human clientele back on Earth that run JC Jensen. Again, due to the company not wanting there to be rogue robot AIs that are beyond their control. So that's essentially the whole synopsis of the series. There's an exoplanet far away from Earth, used to be used for extraction of raw material. People used to live on that exoplanet until a tragic accident wiped them all out. The planet is now cemented into a dark eternal winter thanks to that said accident. The worker drones were able to survive. The humans back on Earth somehow became aware of that and got intel of what was going on, so they send off these murder drones just to kill off any remaining worker drones that have already built a civilization on the planet. So now they basically just live under a bunker for all of eternity. So that's basically where we're at with the whole situation that these worker drones are in. The story of murder drones follows a worker drone by the name of Uzi, the angsty teenage daughter of Khan Dorman, the supposed inventor of doors to help secure the secret bunker that these worker drones reside in. He is often hailed as a local hero in that bunker for, being the one who pioneered all these doors and this tech to keep them safe from any murder drones or disassembly drones that somehow breach. So again, these worker drones have to live inside that bunker at all time, and sometimes are even reluctant to go outside due to the dangers that are outside, because, disassembly drones are always patrolling the area outside and killing any worker drone that somehow wanders out of the bunker. Things then start to take a turn when she ends up bumping into an actual disassembly drone who goes by serial designation N, my favorite character of the series, who claims to be the leader of the squad that he's in. God bless Michael Kovac. Now N takes Uzi into his ship and mentions that there are 2 other people in his squad, V, who N admits he has a crush on, and J, the actual leader of the trio, who likes to pick on N for being completely useless. So once Uzi meets these murder drones, she now has to work with them and form an alliance to uncover the origins of her past, as well as the origin of why these drones were even sent out to kill everybody on the planet. Now, if you've watched Hell of a Boss before, there are a ton of parallels that you can, pick apart from some of these main characters. For instance, Jay is the leader of the trio, essentially the boss of everybody. Just like Blitz, the O is silent with IMP. N is the stupid goofy one who gets picked on by his leader, and at times, doesn't know what the hell he's doing, in addition to having an arc of character development of him manning up and being more and more mature as the story goes on, much like with Moxie. And V is the insane killer one that as long as something involves killing, she'll definitely want to be on board and hop on and partake in whatever she's doing, just like with Millie. And then you have Uzi, who is the angsty teenage girl, much like with Luna. I have no clue if there's any bit of inspiration from that, but I would assume so, because Liam and Viv are actually both really good friends. Hopefully I explained it the best I did without spoiling the entire series. Really, I mostly talked about the pilot, so some spoilers there, but I doubt it would affect the rest of the show, because as the story goes on, the story just gets deeper and darker with each episode. So, hopefully, no surprises have been ruined. But overall, I absolutely love this series to death. It is the most well-written and most well-animated indie series that I've seen on YouTube. And I'm obviously a big sci-fi guy. I love watching, cyberpunk, dystopian, futuristic, sci-fi type of shows almost all the time. For instance, Firefly. If you guys haven't heard of Firefly and haven't watched it, go fucking watch it. It's like a futuristic Western movie in space. Really good show. But Murder Drones is pretty much on a completely different level. It's obviously a horror series, but it's not in the form of horror like cheesy jump scares, ooh, spooky ghost, ooga booga booga. This is actually the good type of horror. This is the horror that I like. It is very suspenseful. You're always getting chills when you're watching it. You don't know what the fuck's going to happen once a certain situation happens. And then when a spooky moment hits, it actually hits real fucking good and really well. It is also a perfect balance of suspenseful drama and comedy. It is, in my opinion, a perfect 50-50 balance between tragedy and comedy. Like, especially with N, you're always going to get some form of, like, comic relief every time he has his, like, little stupid moments. Especially, like, in the early episodes, he was definitely seen as sort of like a comic relief character that you get every now and again. Like, there are moments in the pilots where, like, he's trying to attack V, but he ends up shooting hearts instead. Or he tries to save Uzi from J, so he tries to gross out V by licking her knife. So, you know, little things like that. Now, as far as the storyline is concerned, it is very hard, and I will admit, very difficult to follow. Like, sometimes the storyline is so convoluted that it basically requires you to watch the episode a second time or maybe even a third time just so you can get your understanding. But unless you're, like, really invested and, like, really focused on every single detail and trying to pick apart and analyze what you see, you will have pretty much no problems figuring out what's going on. Like, sometimes you really have to pay close attention to the scenes and, you know, come up with your own theories. But it really takes time to actually understand the storyline and what's going on. Once you watch it enough times, you're like, oh, yeah. And it actually inevitably clicks. But I really do personally like the storyline. You know, it starts off with one worker drone trying to save her own kind. She befriends an actual disassembly drone, and now she's literally working with them to find her own origins and why this whole situation is going on. Like, what really caused Copper 9 to be the place that it actually is? I'm thinking that we will end up getting an answer to what happened to Copper 9 in the series finale, like as a flashback sort of thing. But even right now, we really don't know what happened to Copper 9 and what tragic accident really happened. What caused the explosion and what caused this whole nuclear winter that they're currently going through right now. You could come up with your own theories, but we won't get an actual answer until something happens canonically. Another thing that I think people will end up finding confusing is the absolute solver, which is like this very powerful entity. It's not necessarily a program, but an entity that not only can repair a disassembly drone, but can also take full control of a worker drone that it infects. Now, if you've watched the show, you've already know how Uzi got the absolute solver. It's most likely from her mother Nori, who was already affected by the absolute solver, and just like how in the real world humans can pass certain genetic characteristics to their children, the same thing can happen to the worker drones with the absolute solver. It can also give worker drones certain supernatural abilities like teleportation, telekinesis. Sometimes it can take full control over the host body and turn them into like some evil demonic creature of some sort. It's a really interesting concept and one of my favorite parts of the storyline and the series overall. Doll and Uzi are the only characters that are infected with the absolute solver, at least that were still living. They both got it from their mothers, and they're both trying to find the origin story of themselves. But I think we're gonna have much bigger things to deal with once we get the series finale. Like, I don't even know what happened to V. Presumably she sacrificed herself and she's dead, but I don't know, something tells me that she's still alive and she might make an appearance in the series finale. Like when Jay was killed in the pilot, towards the end of episode 3, she came back in her full normal form. Who's to say the same won't happen to V? Now, what do I expect from the series finale? I expect a ton of action. I expect to see a lot more origin stories in the series finale. Like how Nori got infected with the absolute solver, what really caused the apocalyptic setting of Copper 9, how the absolute solver was created, what went wrong, why is it this powerful. I'm gonna have to rewatch all of the episodes just so I can get myself up to date with the story. Because, let me be real, I've already forgot. So before the premiere of the series finale, I'm probably going to be like rewatching some episodes just so I can refresh my memory, get the storyline back in my head, be up to date with everything, and quite possibly, I will be live with my live reaction of the series finale here on this channel, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the series finale of Murder Drones. This is an excellent show. I highly recommend it. Liam Vickers, hats off to you. You have done a fantastic job with the series. The storyline is great. The characters are well developed. I love the music. Yeah, I forgot to mention how good the music is. The music, especially the song that plays on the prom episode, it kind of reminds me like Miami Vice goes cyberpunk. And it especially gives me heavy Depeche Mode vibes. The series does have a well-composed soundtrack. Definitely fitting for the theme, you know, horror, sci-fi, cyberpunk, all meshed into one. And the show does have a perfect balance of what makes a good story. A healthy balance of horror, drama, action, romance, all perfectly balanced into one. And that's what makes it really good. And that's why I actually like it a lot. I love that balance so much. And Murder Drones does do it just so well. So it's a great series overall, and I am 100% looking forward to that series finale. But for y'all who haven't watched the series yet and fast forward just to see my overall review of it, you should definitely watch the fucking series from pilot to the recent episode and await the one coming in the next few days this week and witness the thrilling conclusion together. It is absolutely worth it. By the way, if you guys are a fan of the game Poppy Playtime, all 3 main characters of the series are voiced by 3 other characters in that game. Michael Kovac, who voices the scientist, voices N, Elsie Lovelock, who voices Mommy Longlegs, voices Uzi, and Nola Klopp, who voices Poppy, voices V. So even though this is the final episode to Murder Drones, I'm really looking forward to seeing what the indie animation community can do moving forward. Another series that I do recommend from the same creators of Murder Drones is called The Amazing Digital Circus, created by Gooseworks, who set the internet on fire with the release of the pilot, and they're already working on a 3rd episode releasing soon. Like, the hype for that series is just absolutely unreal. Imagine getting 100 million views in less than 1 month. I have never seen a debut of a pilot reach that many views that quickly. And if you like twisted shit, you're definitely gonna love that series. But you get my drift. There are so many good indie projects in the work right now, so much so that we're already pretty much witnessing a renaissance of creativity. You've got Hell of a Boss, which is already a great watch. Lackadaisy is coming relatively soon. The shit that Glitch is putting out with The Amazing Digital Circus, and I don't know what else they got planned, but I'm definitely staying tuned. And there's even another one that is on the works called Far-Fetched, created by Ashley Nichols, who is the girlfriend of N's voice, the host of the Honeycast, and the voice of Zooble in The Amazing Digital Circus. Although there's only the proof of concept and unreleased pilot that is out from Far-Fetched. Aside from that, haven't really heard any news about what's going on with it, so I don't know exactly where that one's going. I got no fucking clue. So yeah, that was my thoughts and reviews of Murder Drones. 10 out of 10, highly recommended series. You've actually got a well-written, well-made, dark lore, sci-fi, cyberpunk horror series material with dark suspenseful undertones, combined with anime-like fighting and action, while also being highly entertaining. Those 3 things really work well together when you really think about it. I will continue to support the future endeavors of Glitch, and I did order a poster actually with the 3 main characters on it. I don't know exactly when that's supposed to come, but I will be hanging it up proudly in my setup when it does. So, SMG4, keep him coming. I'll be watching. Trust me. Can't wait to see what you guys got next. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to hit that like button down below. And if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the little notification bell. Be sure to follow me on all my social medias. Links are in the description below. Share this video around with your friends, families, boyfriends, girlfriends, enemies, whomever. Definitely helps me out a lot, helps the video grow, and helps grow the channel if you were to share this video with whomever you know. So yeah, as you can tell, I decided to do something a little bit different on the channel. So, you know, kind of a little bit of a rough start. This is my first time actually doing this. You can obviously tell it was a little bit rushed, but at least I tried my best. I'm really looking forward to being able to do more of these kinds of videos. You know, reviewing these shows, making up my theories on these shows, talking about them with y'all. Because I really do want to be able to, like, branch out on different topics and talk about different things, aside from, you know, current events. So, first time around, a little bit rough, I will admit, but I'm hoping to make more of these kinds of videos in the near future. So, make sure you are subscribed. We are very close to 150, and I want to be able to get to that milestone right before the year ends. So subscribe, ring the notifications, and make sure they're set to all and not personalized, so that way you don't miss an upload. But anyways, guys, like, subscribe, ring notifications, and until then, take care, talk soon, and I'll see you guys in the next one. You're awesome.